All right, everybody, with that being said, I want to move on to something a little less serious here. And I just want to answer a question that I received in an email from a viewer. Now, this viewer asked me a question that I've been asked probably hundreds of times before, especially in the live chats. They said to me, I really enjoy watching your YouTube channel, but I kind of wonder, what channels do you watch? Where do you get your information? Well, when people ask me this question, I know they usually want to know, what other gun channels do I watch? To be honest, unless a gun channel is doing something I think is destructive to the Second Amendment or negative in some way, I generally don't watch them. And I think that's true of a lot of us that have gun channels, because it's like if you work at an ice cream factory all day, when you go home, last thing you want to do is have ice cream. At least I assume that's true. I've never worked in an ice cream factory, but I'm assuming that is true. It's like, I guess, if you're a prostitute, the last thing you want to do when you come home is, give somebody a hand job. To put it in a term that most people would understand more here. Now, that I might have a little more experience with, but let's not go into that. But like I said, I don't really watch gun videos, like I said, or gun channels, unless I think they're doing something destructive to our rights, to our community, etc., or they're taking advantage of people, sucking money out of people, and, lying about what they're doing, etc. So I really don't pay much attention to most other gun channels. Don't know most of them. I know, of course, like gun websites and Never Enough Ammo, and I know Military Arms Channel Tim and Eric and all those guys, but I don't watch their videos, really. Just don't. They don't watch mine. But I do want to answer the question of what channels do I watch, so I thought I'd let you know, just so you can get to know me a little better. Maybe this would be something you'd be interested in. There's 4 channels that I spend probably 95% of my time on YouTube watching. And I'm going to list them in order here from the one I watch the least to the one I watch the most. Now, number 4 of the 4 channels is something called Puro Fails or Puro Fails. It's Puro Fails. Now, this is basically a scare cam channel where they do scare cams and pranks, etc. And I like stuff like that. I like watching fat people fall down. I like watching old people lose their pants, stuff like that. It's funny. My sense of humor kind of swings that way. I'm very much got a Benny Hill, Monty Python kind of sense of humor. So I love these things. And it's kind of fun to watch because the host of the show, I'm not quite sure what he is. He's not human. I haven't determined yet whether he is a robot, a cyborg or something, if he's just a computer generation, or if he's an alien and this is what he thinks human beings are like. Like, he tried to get as close as possible behavior-wise, but just didn't quite nail it. And it's kind of obvious. So I watch that channel a lot. That's the channel I probably watch number 4 on the list of the 4 top ones I watch. The next one would be a channel called The Straight Pipes. This is an auto channel. They do car reviews. They do drag tests. They do all this kind of stuff. It's hosted by a couple of weird Canadian car nerds, one of which I am thinking is probably very likely a virgin. But I'm very much interested in cars. I like getting the perspective of nerds on cars, car nerds. I mean, I don't want to see the guys that are, super cool. It makes me feel bad about myself. So I like the car nerds. So I watch that channel quite a bit. The next channel I watch quite a bit also is another car channel. Now, this one is called Throttle House. Now, I know that sounds like maybe an S&M channel, and sometimes it almost is in some of their little openings. They like to do their little funny openings and stuff. They're kind of more Top Gear-ish in the way they like to do their little skits and stuff. But they give a lot of good information on cars. Sometimes I wish they would review different cars because they tend to review base models and really high-end models, and they kind of miss the in-between models sometimes. But like I say, there's so many cars, so little time. But this channel, surprisingly, is also hosted by a couple of weird Canadian car nerds, one of whom is probably likely a virgin. So kind of a theme there. I kind of like that, I guess. But that's a channel I watch quite a bit. Like I said, another car channel. So we got a fail channel and 2 car channels. Now we come to the channel I watch by far the most. And that is Jim Cornette's channel. If you're not familiar with Jim Cornette is an old professional wrestler manager and sometimes wrestler. He's talent and he's worked behind the scenes. He's really got a cool perspective on the wrestling industry from way back in the day, because, you know, he's older than me. He's like 60. So he's got a lot of stories. It's just really interesting. He tells you a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Just awesome, especially if you're into like the 80s and late 70s wrestling, professional wrestling, like I really was. He's got some great stories, some great perspective. I love his attitude. He kind of doesn't give a shit about anything. And I usually agree with his opinions, especially on a lot of modern wrestling. I mean, I disagree sometimes, but I'm not as hard as him sometimes on wrestlers. But his opinions usually are well-founded. They're not usually just out of nowhere, even if I don't agree with them. But awesome show. Love watching his show. That's what I watch mostly on YouTube. So when you look at it, I mean, guns just don't really figure in. It's fail videos, it's car videos, and it's wrestling stuff. That's what I watch on YouTube.